Hi, this is Caleb from A Safe Landing Counseling Services. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about desire. Everybody has desire. We also have high expectations for things as well. And I hear oftentimes, especially when people are coming in from a Christian perspective, they're saying, man, I have too high of expectations. I shouldn't have this expectation. I shouldn't have this. But oftentimes what I find out is that expectation leads to desire. Desires oftentimes can also seem bad to people, and I want to maybe debunk the myth about desire. In Scripture, it says that God will give us the desires of our heart as we lean into Him, go after Him, and it gives us kind of those dynamics throughout Scripture. We want to make sure that we don't put desire in the wrong place. The desire of our heart needs to be pure. The only way I know how to do that is getting closer to God. In the process of that, Scripture is great. It's wonderful. We need to be reading Scripture. Absolutely need to be doing that. But more so, we need to be hearing from God. You can do that through Scripture, but you also have to hear internally. You have to hear in your spirit, just like they did in the first century church when they didn't have Scripture all over the place. So, desire is one of the most important parts about hearing from God. If I have a desire, the first thing that I need to do is go to God and say, what is this desire about? Why do I feel this way? What is it that I need in my life that makes this complete in you? So having a desire, we may actually feel that it's off. And maybe for good reason. There are times when desire is very off and very wrong. But we need to also look at the expectation behind it. Is my expectation for this desire being fulfilled through a lens of fear? Now, fear is not from God. Perfect love casts out all fear. And that is something that's very important when we gauge desire. Instead, we should go to another degree and say, okay, is this desire loving? Is it a desire that's fulfilling of God's kingdom? If it is, it's a good desire. Sometimes the desire for good and the desire for fear, they interchange together and we can't tell. They get convoluted, in another word. We want to clear that up and say, okay, what is good about this desire and what is not? So somebody who has a desire to leave their marriage because they don't feel loved. That is not a love-based emotion, an emotion that's rooted in connection with God. Rather, it's a fear-based emotion. I will never find love. This is how it's always going to be. So we take that desire. God, I want to be loved. We take that before Him and we say, where am I loved? What is good about who I am that is lovable? And as we start getting that desire worked out, it exchanges for something that's good in the kingdom of heaven rather than a fear-based piece of our life. So what I'm hoping is that when we talk about desire, you'll take a moment to look and say, God, what is my desire? What's the goodness of it? And what do I need to change about it? Don't shut your desires down. That's shutting down your heart. We need to offer our full heart to God. If we don't offer our full heart, then it is blemished to God. It is like a sacrifice that's missing a limb. And God doesn't like that. He'd rather have the full thing, unblemished. What does it mean to be unblemished? Well, it means to have the fullness of your heart, saying, okay, God, your blood purifies. Let me have my desires in the way that you see as good. I hope this is helpful. I know that a lot of people shut down desires, and that's not God's heart towards you. We can read that in Scripture. In fact, He wants to pull us out into a place that's healthy, where our desires line up with His desires. So if that's you, make sure you're not shutting down your desires. Bring them to Him. He'll show you the goodness of those desires. All right, that leads us into more hope and more joy and less depression, but that's for another time.